Hey guys, so I'm still testing this head and this manifold to try and find where all the turbulence is coming from. I've done a lot of pitot tube testing the last several nights once my kids go to bed, and that's what I'm doing right now. So, um, one thing I have and I've already made the change, and I'm in the middle of flow testing right now, but I wanted to make a quick update video. All right, if you look in here, so I'm zoomed in pretty far, and I know it's kind of wanting to focus on that throttle plate. Let me see if I can, there we go. So if you can look where the roof is, I've made a change there. If you look over here, you can see it a little bit more drastically. So you can see where the roof is, it kind of overhangs a little bit. That black area is the gasket and my methanol plate. So the methanol plate kind of follows the gasket almost perfectly. But you see how it overhangs a little bit? That sharp edge there, air is not liking that. It's creating a little bit of turbulence. I actually almost missed it on the pitot tube, but after several minutes of staring at that with a flow bench running wide open, I finally figured out where some of my entry-level turbulence is coming from. So if you look at it there, now, do you see it anymore? No. So the only thing you see is my methanol plate, and that's what, it's kind of hard to see, but that's what's shiny right there. See how the methanol plate's kind of overhanging now a little bit of the wall? Kind of see it a little bit better. Here, let me see if that helps. So, why would it focus? There it goes. So you can see the methanol plate there and the gasket. So the wall is now basically matched. Sucker does not want to focus where I want it to. Okay, you can see how over here it's kind of rough looking and not rough looking. So there's a little bit more material I want to take off. This is my first modification and the first flow test after the modification. It did not fix any of my turbulence at high lift. But what it does do is it carries it just a touch further before it goes turbulent. It also picked up some low lift flow. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a little bit more of a tweak to that. Right after this video, I'll show you a before and after picture of what it looked like, even though you can kind of see it from this clip. And then I'm going to make another modification. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flow it without the methanol plate. So before I make any changes, I'm going to do a quick flow test with the methanol plate removed and see, basically it's like no spacer, and just see if that smooth transition without that methanol plate there helps flow or hurts flow. If it hurts flow, then it probably wants more of a spacer. If it helps flow, then that means this spacer is all wrong, or it doesn't want a spacer at all, and I may need to look at doing some injectors directly into the port. In either case, we're going to find something out today. So I'm going to test it real quick without the methanol plate, and then if it doesn't really do anything for flow, I'm going to remove this, make another modification to that roof area, flow it again, see if it changes anything at all, and then once that's done, start looking at other areas that I can start picking up some flow. And I'm not really chasing flow at this point. The head itself flows phenomenal, but it's happy without the manifold. Once the manifold goes on there, it's picking up too much airspeed, and where I'm having a lot of flow separation within within the cylinder head. The airflow inside the manifold is really not that fast. It's actually fairly slow because it's such a large runner, but because it's tapered down into the head, whereas the head is happy without the manifold, because the airflow is directed a little differently, it's now upset. So I've got to figure out where to fix that, if I can fix it. The cylinder head may just not be, I mean, the cylinder head's good, but I think I need to slow the airspeed down, and that makes getting the cross-sectional area a little larger, and that hurts low lift flow. It hurts low speed torque, which it's a truck, guys. I mean, I need low speed torque, so I may have to sacrifice a little high lift flow, and I just want to get it to flow cleanly to 600 thousandths lift or 590 thousandths lift, which is how much I'm lifting it with the cam. If I can get it to do that, then I'm done. The next thing I'll be doing, that'll be the inside runner. I'll make all 4 of the inside runners look the same, and then I'll start developing the outside runner. The wall is going a different direction. So whereas the airflow wants to be on this side, this wall, and then right on the pinch point, it's at the highest airspeed, right where the push rod area is. It's going to be different on this one. Okay, so the air is going to want to stick against this inside wall. Okay, and it's going to be on this outside wall, and so the airflow is not going to be going around the minimum cross-sectional area and then down into the short turn. It's going to be making almost a straight path to the short turn. So I think the short turn shape may have to be different on the outside runners than on the inside runners, but not there yet. I got to figure this one out first. Once this one's figured out, I'll make all 4 the same, and then I'll develop the outside runner. Stay tuned. Hey guys, so I made another change. It picked up another 1/10 of differential pressure, which is a few CFM. I think I've maximized that change as much as I can. If you can see it, it'll probably look a little different than before. Let's see here if I can shine that light there. Here we go. If I can get it to focus. Let's try that. There you go. Kind of. Anyway, you can see where there's that little corner right there. The air wants to go to that corner. And I think the reason why this methanol injection plate, it flows about the same. It flows about the same with the injection plate, but if I take it off, it does pick a few CFM up. And I think a lot of that has to do with where that overlap is, and it has a little sharp corner there, creating a little bit of eddy currents, blocking some of the flow from this port. Now you're getting the same from the others. Interestingly enough, normally when you take and unblock, you can see right here how these are blocked off with tape. Normally if you unblock those, flow will go up. And it does go up, but not as much as I thought it would. In fact, this is not a restriction at all. If I take all of this off, it flows pretty much the same as if I just have the throttle body on. Like I said, it loses a little bit of CFM with the methanol injection plate. So I think I've maximized this roof angle, approach angle. I may try a tapered spacer just to see if that will do anything at all. Because if it does, then I'm running it. If it doesn't, then hey, whatever. I'll send it back. Anyway, so that's it for today. It's midnight and I've got to take my kids to school in like 6 hours. So tomorrow is going to be a very significant day. I'm going to work all night long because I have to work night shifts, so I got to stay up all night anyway. So tomorrow, all night long, nothing but development on this and start grinding away. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. For flow, I'll come back on. I haven't even calculated it yet. I'll tell you what it picked up in just a second. Okay, so this is what it flowed. So it lost just a little bit of low lift flow. The 2, 3, and 4 were down just to like 1 or 2 CFM. But all that's almost nothing. At 500, it didn't pick up anything. It's exactly the same, 268 CFM. At 550, this is where it was still 268. So it only picked up 3 numbers here. So where these lost like 1 or 2 CFM, this picked up 3 CFM. So it's kind of a give and take here. But again, that's still nothing. But what's significant is once I got above 500 lift, it got really turbulent. It didn't. It was very stable. I was a very solid 268 CFM, whereas the other one was kind of an average because it was bouncing a little bit. At 550, this is where it starts to get a little turbulent, but it's because it wants to flow a lot. And actually at 525 thousandths, it picked up even more than that. It was like 276, 277, which is where my target was. If I got there, I was going to be happy, but I really wanted to get there at 592 thousandths lift, which is where my cam was at. So I'm trying to get this thing to be stable up to at least where my cam's at. At 555 is 271, and at 600 before, flow just completely dropped off. It was down like 30, 40, 50 CFM because it was so turbulent. It's not nearly as turbulent now. So it is turbulent, but not as bad. So it did drop, what's that, 59? So, 12 CFM. Not bad, okay? Not bad at all. It is still turbulent, but it didn't drop as much. And then this is what really shocked me. At 650 thousandths lift, it completely backed up and dropped. Like, we're talking 80 CFM. It was disgusting. And it didn't drop much. It was still pretty stable here. So it goes turbulent here, but this transition is what I gotta fix. So I'm happy with it all the way up to here. I'm okay with the 1 or 2 losses here. So I'm gonna get a tapered spacer and see if that cleans that up, that turbulence. If it doesn't, then it's further down in the cylinder head, and I'm just gonna have to figure out what to do there. I'll figure that out tomorrow night. I won't have a tapered spacer by tomorrow, but at least I'll be able to look at that. So 0.6, 6.5, we're good. That's it. After this video, I'll show you the before and after pictures of what changes I made to make that more stable. And it was just all that transition right there, that roof transition. And I think there's more flow to be had with this transition here. That's an abrupt angle change. If I can fix that, that might clean some stuff up. But